So today we're talking about the backswing, specifically how you move your body and the 3 things that have to be present if you're to make a perfect backswing. So is there even such a thing as a perfect backswing? I know I certainly haven't got one, and you probably haven't got one either, and there's probably a few people out there who get pretty close. In this video we're talking specifically, however, about how the body moves, and there are definitely some patterns and some correlations that we can see amongst the best golfers, and there's 3 things that they all do. If you can improve on those, you will make a better backswing. Now, just before we get into that video, last year I launched my website at chrisryanGolf.com, and over there are some training series. These are kind of a lot more in depth, generally over 60 minutes in length, taking you through step by step to improve certain elements of your golf game. So whether it's looking to increase clubhead speed or whether it's looking to strike the golf ball better, there's a training series over there currently which can help you. So I'll link that in the corner. I'll also link it in the description box as well. I'd love you to head over there, take a look, and if one is of interest to you, then I really think it can help you with your game. Just before we get started again, just drop into the comments box and just let me know what you're working on in your backswing. Are you working on something to do with it's not a club, but are you working on something to do with a club? Or are you looking to do something to do with your body? Let me know what you're working on. It'll be interesting to get your thoughts. Today, as I said, we're working on the body movement. What are the 3 things that everybody does, and how can they help you? What are those 3 things? Well, if I put this alignment stick across my shoulders, and I'm just going to stand up in a very natural position. The 3 movements that we can have, we're going to call this one a bend. Okay, so I can sort of tip over and bend forwards. I can also bend to the side. So you can see I'm not sort of changing my angle this way, but I'm sort of bending to the side. And the other one would be rotation. Now, those 3 movements are available to every single golfer out there. Now, some of you may well have limitations, you may well be less flexible, so you might not have the range of motion, but most of you are going to have those available to you. So if you make a backswing which doesn't look right, the body movement doesn't look particularly good, it just doesn't look like you see the best players in the world do, it will be down to 1, 2, or 3 of those things not being present. So if we've got those 3 things and we have to create a movement which blends all those 3 things, I want you to see if you can guess, based on these movements that I make, which of those 3 elements is wrong. Is it that my rotation's poor? Is it that my what we call side bend is poor? Or is it that my forward bend is poor? It'll be interesting if you can spot these. So this is the first movement that I'm going to make. So what is wrong with this movement? Okay, so from that face on camera, you would hopefully have seen my head move significantly off the ball. The movement that was wrong there was the forward bend. Now, this is all going to become a little bit clearer as we go through this, so don't worry if you're not seeing these at the moment. So what about this movement? What's wrong in this movement? Okay, so in that movement, what was wrong was the side bend. So if you can start to get a little bit better at recognizing the movements that people are making, or specifically you're making in your golf swing, and what is causing those movements that don't look quite right, you can go straight to the fix. And that's the really key part, because the videos, or this particular video, is really trying to give you and arm you with the tools that you can look at your own golf swing and pull out what needs work. And that's a really powerful thing to do. The best players in the world, you listen to the coaches are very often talking about giving the information or giving the knowledge to the player so that they can start to be their own coach, and the coach starts to take a step back because the player's got ownership. And that's kind of what we're trying to do here, is trying to give you the knowledge that you can look at your golf swing and make educated decisions to quickly improve your golf. So take my starting position, okay? And let's say, what would be present at the top of my golf swing? So if I took a normal position, how would I get to the top of my golf swing? Well, I think we could all agree I would have some rotation. So rotation would definitely be present. This, however, doesn't look like the top of my golf swing. So I'm going to add in what we call side bend. Now, a side bend, I'm going to bend over to my left. Now, as I bend over to my left, suddenly we get something which looks a little bit more like the top of the golf swing. If I put my arms out, hopefully you would agree that that doesn't look too far away from a pretty good top of the backswing, almost a perfect backswing. So what did I do to create that? Well, I had rotation and I had some side bends. There was 2 elements there that I needed for that perfect top of the backswing. Let's talk about setup. What would I need to do from here to achieve a perfect setup? Well, I would have forward bend. So let's think about that. At setup, we have forward bend. At the top of the golf swing, I have rotation and I have side bend. So I lost that forward bend. And that is the key message in this particular video. At setup, we have one element, we have forward bend. During the backswing, we get rid of that forward bend and we replace it with rotation and side bend. That's the key point. So, as I start to rotate, if I maintain my forward bend, which is how I tilt over, I'm always going to have my head moving off the ball because my chest still points down. Forward bend takes my chest from horizontal to down. Look at the top of my golf swing. Where's my chest? It is absolutely not pointing down at the ground. If I kept it down at the ground, I'd be in this very, very uncomfortable position. So, exercise number one to understand where you need to be at the top of your golf swing is here. Add some rotation, add some side bend. That's going to give you straight away a really quick insight as to what the top of your golf swing should feel like or be like in terms of how you move the body. Phase two is how do we get from one to the other? Well, the key thing here would be trying to take this end of the alignment stick and point it down towards the golf ball. If I can do that, it's a really, really simple and quick way of moving between setup and the top of the golf swing. Those of you who have too much forward bend, alignment stick does not point at the golf ball. Those of you who do not have the side bend, again, the alignment stick does not point at the golf ball. So I'm a big believer in coaching in a certain way, giving the knowledge, which sometimes, and you maybe were sitting here thinking in this video, this is quite complicated, but I really believe that the knowledge behind what you do is key. So the knowledge has to be explained, but then we have to create the movement in a very simple way. So we've gone through the knowledge, we understand there's rotations and bends. How do we create it very simply? We take an address, alignment stick out here, rotate and point it at the ball. Rotate and point it at the ball. Rotate and point it at the ball. I've got rotation, I've got my side bend, and I've lost my forward bend. So I've gone from a starting form towards a top of the backswing form, and I'm actually changing quite a bit. I'm losing forward bend, I'm adding rotation, I'm losing side bend, and I'm doing it in such a way that it feels relatively simple. So if you, like I say, if you've videoed your golf swing, you look at the top of the backswing, you don't like how your body's moving, it's going to be one of those three things. The key is trying to establish which one and then applying the correct fix. So, is there such thing as a perfect backswing? Possibly not. But in terms of how the body moves, all the best golfers do that. They all use those three movements together perfectly. They're blended. And what it does, it creates a perfect backswing in terms of the body for them. You too can do that. You just have to understand those movements, practice them, and hopefully in this video we've given you the tools to do just that. Usual stuff, as always, is below. You've got the comments box down there. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Like button as well. That one there, that will allow you to be a free subscriber of the channel. I believe personally that these videos can help you play better golf and hit your best shots more often. That's exactly what we're all trying to do. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here again very soon.